if you started watching this video, you must want to know more about how to improvise. Now, there's lots of videos out there on how to improvise. Mostly they're concerned with play the right notes, play the right chords, know the chords, the theory, what chords, what notes to play, whatever. Okay, if you play a solo and all you do is play the notes and the chords, and there's somebody listening to you, this is what's going to happen to your audience. That's right. That's boring. Listening to someone playing notes and chords, scales and chords, is really boring. And there's a lot of improvisers out there that are boring. And one of the reasons jazz, in particular, is not very popular lately, because what they teach in the schools is mostly this, and it's boring. So today I'm going to try to help you get past that. And the way to not be boring is you have to develop ideas. Now, my next 10 or more videos on improvisation will be how to develop ideas. So here, let's go. Now, if you watch to the end of this video, I'm going to tell you why it's so important to develop your ideas. And we're going to start from the beginning of improvisation. Beginning of improvisation, what they used to do, they play the melody, then they play the melody again, and they add notes or they change it a little bit. That was the first type of improvisation, New Orleans especially, in the street bands and the bands. That's what they used to do. And this is the most basic form of learning to play, into improvising, into learning to have ideas. Now, nowadays, they don't do that unless you're doing retro music. Nowadays, you play solo. And my first lesson, I'm going to explain to you theme and variation. Does that sound familiar? Theme and variation? Well, before there was jazz, in the classical music, it was used very much. From Bach on, Mozart, Beethoven, variation, variation. Twinkle, twinkle, little star. You brass players out there, study our band, the Carnival of Venice. Theme and variation. My first lesson, I'm going to give you 4 ways to do variations on a theme, and I'm going to use the very standard theme, All the Things You Are, one of my favorites, one of Frank Rossellino's favorites. I used in my previous video in the background. I'm just going to use that, those first 2 bars of the theme. So, first, the most simple and basic is what I call diminution. Taking notes out of the melody, but still playing the notes of the melody. See, I left the second note up, but you can still tell it's the melody. That's one of the most basic. Second, very obviously, augmentation, adding notes to the melody. And I'm going to give you some ways to do that. You can repeat a note. For example, very simple. Repeat the note. Da, 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 da. You can go one note up or down from the melody note. Or up and down. In other words, you can play chord tones. That's a better example. Play the chord notes in the chord. You can add the connecting notes between the notes of the melody. Use scale tones. I'm using the scale and the notes in the scale. You can also add accents and flourishes and slides. Especially trombone. Turns. There's all kinds of stuff, and you can stick to the melody. Okay, that's augmentation. Hey, if you know of any other ways to do this, please mention it in the comments below, so I can learn and other people can learn also different ways to augment or change the melody. The next, number 3, rhythmic variations, changing the rhythm. You can change the rhythm instead of other ways. You can change the feel, the time feel, like for example, if you're playing swing, you can play swing, play straight notes. Okay, I didn't swing the 8 notes, I played them straight. You can also use a different, impose a different time measure, like 3. Okay, I'm putting 3 against 4. You can go twice as fast. Or you can go half as fast. You can do it slow it down, half speed. Now, that's rhythmic variations. And now, harmonically, you can vary it also. You can transpose it up or down a half step. Up or down a half step, whole step, third, fourth, tritone, whatever. Sort of. Still recognize it's the melody, but you're playing. I'm transposing it to a different note. You can also go up or down an octave. Down an octave or up an octave. Probably just started there. Let's see, what else can we do? Let me know if you think of anything else you can do harmonically. You can change change minor and major. You can do, there's all kinds of stuff you can do. So, why do you want to do this? To create interest. You're not just playing for yourself in your bedroom. Well, in your bedroom like I am right now. You want to play, your goal is to play in public and have people listen to you. And people want to listen to you. That's how when Frank Rossellino plays All the Things You Are, he plays 10 choruses. And each chorus is interesting because he's developing ideas, very different ideas. Listen to that. I'll put a link to it again. The Frank Rossellino, one of his most famous solos of all time. 10 choruses. My God. So what you want to do is create interest. It also draws your audience in. They're hearing the melody and remembering, oh yeah, that's the melody, but it's a variation. It's different. Also, this is a very good technique for students who are just learning to improvise and trying to keep the form. Because if you keep referencing the form, if you hear where the melody is, you don't lose your form. I've taught a lot of beginning improvisers, and they tend to get lost in the form. This will help you, stick to the melody, and you stick to the form. So that's the goal of you as an improviser, to be not boring. Not boring. Don't just play scales and arpeggios and fast as you possibly can, because it's boring. You need to develop ideas. So please, if you want to hear more of my techniques on how to develop ideas, subscribe to my channel, and I will have at least 10 more. There's many more ways to keep your audience interested in the best soloists, like Frank Rossellino, like Miles Davis, like John Coltrane, like Charlie Parker. They develop ideas. So do that. Subscribe, please.